Hey, everybody. Sorry, I don't know why that's so funny to me. Just anyway, welcome to episode 53 of Alone Together Tuesdays. We took a week off. I figured after a year that I deserved a break, and so I took it and I enjoyed it. And I don't even know whether to call this Alone Together Tuesdays or not. This particular episode and this series that we're about to start doing, I guess it's the same thing, but it feels like maybe it should have a different name. But what we're going to do is go through each of my records over the next 6-7 weeks, and starting tonight with my first record, Flowers and Liquor. And I started this process of getting the show together, and I realized how much more I could have done. That's a terrible way to pitch a show. It could have been a lot better. There's some great stuff. We're going to have a good time. But it really, it just sparked a lot of memories for me and made me remember I've got a lot of photos, a lot of demos, a lot of people that were involved in this that I would love to get on camera talking about it. So I may go back and at some point and try and put together a little more produced version of this process, going through looking at these records. But for now, we're just going live with what we got, which is quite a bit. So thank you for joining me and for being here for Alone Together Tuesdays. I'm in the doghouse here in Nashville, Tennessee. My dog is literally on the floor at my feet. She may get up and get on the couch, or she may just stay here the whole time. Yeah, I hope everybody's doing well. And yeah, thanks again for being here. So, it is 20 years since I recorded this record. And what I'd like to do tonight is tell you a bit about how the songs came to be, what my life was like during that time, what the recording process was like, what getting a record deal was like, and what touring was like before and after that. And in between, I'm going to play all the songs and yeah, we'll just see where it goes. I don't have this super planned out. Surprise. But we'll just kind of wing it, see if there's a story to tell here. So, yeah, so for me, the beginning starts in college. I went to school in Conway, Arkansas, and at Hendrix College. And I had a real passion for songwriting, for singing, but particularly for songwriting. I loved to sing, and it was fun, but the songwriting was the thing that really lit the fire for me. And most of through high school, I had just kind of tried to get decent enough to where people wouldn't leave the room when I performed, and that took a while. It took some time, actually. Sorry, I'm gonna this, and but I got off to school, went to college in Arkansas, and didn't really know what I was doing. Just kind of studying life and playing songs. And at a certain point, I decided I couldn't think of anything else that I would rather do than play music. And the odds of being able to play music, I wasn't sure how that was going to work out. But I thought, you only live once, so let me give it a shot. So I stuck in college long enough to get out, barely. And then I moved this. Well, first I went and actually I'm fast forwarding. I'm in college. So the first song I wrote that's on this record, I wrote in college. I wrote several of these songs when I was still there. And the first one was called Lost and Lonely. And it was not the first song I wrote, but it was the first song that I wrote that I could play for people without being sort of mortified. And so let's just go ahead and play that. I've talked enough already to start us off here. So this was Lost and Lonely. I wrote this my freshman year, I believe. Well, it's hard to write a song when your 3/4's gone, and crazy legs keeps pegging on my guitar. I try to clear my head and reflect on what she said, but the only thing reflected seems to be the bar. A shot of bourbon never hurt no one, so I reckon two couldn't do no harm. Well, I know my eyes are red and I'm a little bit underfed. Ah, but baby, please believe me, that ain't cause for no alarm. I'm pleased to meet you. My name is Lost and Lonely. That's spelled with one L, not two. And don't you think you could be my one and only? Baby, just long enough for me to make love to you. Tell me, what do you see standing in front of thee? Oh yes, I get poetic when I've had a few, but Lord, I swear it's hard when you've been dealt all your cards, and the only thing you've ever known you done forgotten how to do. So let's pour another round for dreams we never found, and laugh until the tears fall from our face. And when they finally send me home, I can't make that walk alone. There's just too many memories. Another time, another place. I'm pleased to meet you. My name is Lost and Lonely. That's spelled with one L, not two. And don't you think you could be my one and only? Baby, just long enough for me to make love to you. Well, I swear I know just what to do. It'll only take an hour or two. Well, it's hard to write a song when your 3/4's gone. Yeah, it is. Doesn't mean I didn't try. All right. So that was the first song on the that I wrote that ended up going on this record, and I wrote that when I was 19. I made this record when I was 25, I think. So anyway, some time passed in between then. But that was called Lost and Lonely. And yeah, so I was in school, I'm trying to, but I'm in this dry county. There's nowhere to play music. And they had these little events. There were no bars. They had these little events called Coffee House, which was basically like talent shows. And you could go and play music there. And so I would go and play, and they were my own songs, but I would play Bob Dylan or Robert Johnson. I think the first time I played in public, I did 2 songs, Don't Think Twice, It's All Right, and Walking Blues with Robert Johnson. And with my friend John Dempster, he played guitar with me. And then I played, I did No Woman, No Cry at a drag beauty pageant that we had. Oh boy, I can't remember all the rest, but those were my only chances to play until my senior year. They opened up a venue. Somebody figured out a loophole in the law where if you made your venue a private membership club, you could sell alcohol. I don't know why nobody thought of this before, but it's this loophole, and somebody figured it out. So they opened up a club called the Supper Club, and for $5 you could become a lifetime member. And it was not an exclusive club, but it was a club, and you could get a gig there. And so I got like 2 shows there. And before that, I had one other show. I'm sorry, I'm going to backtrack real quick. There was a place called the Breakaway Cafe. And the band that was going to play that night, this particular night, couldn't make it. And they asked if I could fill in. And I went and I did. It was my first show, like a show where I had 2 hours to fill or something. And I remember I got heckled and by one person. And then, but it wasn't that bad. But afterwards, the next day, the drummer for the band that I filled in for came to the library where I was studying and handed me a $5 bill. And he said, "Here's your pay." And it was the coolest feeling. I could not believe it. That somebody was giving me money to sing songs. I couldn't believe they let me sing in the first place, but that I got paid to do it. And it was $5, but that wasn't the point. The point was that not only did people not leave the room, and not only did I get a gig at a restaurant where people, like I needed to be passable, but then I got money for it. So that was really special. But then I got these gigs at the Supper Club. And I've told this story before, but back in those days, if you could play the song Wonderful Tonight by Eric Clapton, there was a really good chance you could get a girl to go home with you. And we all knew this. It was me and 3 other guys. We all did solo singer-songwriter, like acoustic covers mostly. And we all knew this. And so rather than do the pro thing and draw straws to see who was going to get the honor of singing Wonderful Tonight, at the end of the evening, we all got up on stage and simultaneously, all 4 of us simultaneously sang the song. It was not a high point in my show business career. But I walked out after the gig and started writing this song, and I didn't finish it till years later, but the seed had been planted. It's called Arkansas Blues. Well, I hide behind my guitar like a sparrow in the night, just hoping I might fly away anew. 'Cause they'll love you when you're wrong, and then they'll leave you when you're right. Oh, tell me, baby, what's a boy to do? Well, I came to town a stranger, not knowing how to act, and I figured I'd hang out and just get fine. I made me some new friends that climbed way up my back. They've been gone so long, they ain't coming down. You can kiss the sky good morning, you say your prayers at night. I just saw it out in your shoes, but it's the same old scene, borrowed love and faded dreams. And I just can't run from those Arkansas blues. Well, time is playing tricks on me. It makes me think I'm moving fast. Yeah, but I don't think I'm moving at all. And every stranger's face I see reminds me of the past. Well, they come on big and leave you feeling small. So I took to drinking liquor on the other side of town, way up in those woods beside the moon. Where every graceful dream I had got lost without a sound. Yeah, I tell you what, I can't leave this place too soon. It don't take no rhyme or reason, it don't make no sense at all. It's just one of those things that you don't choose, but it's the same old thing, broken hearts and busted strings. And I just can't run from those Arkansas blues. Everybody's asking questions about whose side are you on. Yeah, and I don't see how it matters much to me. And all these midnight celebrations that are ended by the dawn, well, they leave you feeling low as you can be. So I'm leaving town this morning. I'm gonna lighten up my load and see if I can't lose what I have found. And it's one drink for the memories and one kiss for the road. Oh, look out, I believe I'm Texas bound. California, Oklahoma, Arizona, Tennessee. I've been all around this land to pay my dues. High, low, and right behind me, wherever I go they find me. And I just can't run from those Arkansas blues. I just can't run from those Arkansas blues. All right. Yeah, Arkansas Blues. That's a song I was very proud of that when I wrote it, and I still feel like it holds up. I think maybe on this record, to me, it may be my favorite song on there. It's it's slow and but it's so it's not for everybody. But to me, it's the best written one. So okay, I'm trying to think in my head. There's like 3 different stages to this deal here, so I'm trying to figure out how to go in a way that stays engaging. So I'm in college. I'm in Arkansas writing these songs. There's aspirations of being a songwriter, but who knows how to do that? I didn't know how to do that. The only person I knew, I didn't even know him, was Jack Ingram. Jack Ingram and I were from the same town, and I remember watching him on Austin City Limits one night, my senior year in college, and going. I had a friend who was friends with his family, and I thought, well, there's a shot. Like there's somebody who's doing it, and from the same place I'm from. And but I still didn't really know what was what. So we'll go back to the college stuff in a minute. But when I got out of school, I moved to this town called Crystal Beach, Texas. This is where we bring in the photos. I wish I had put some up from college because I used to have hair down to my butt, and I was real fond of not wearing a shirt. I just walked around. Oh God, I'm gonna have to do another episode just with all the photos because I used to just walk around, no shirt, a cigarette, a guitar, a ponytail. I was like, "What's up?" Oh, I remember I used to go to the weight room in college, wearing boots, blue jeans, and maybe like a men's undershirt, and I'd go in there and do a couple reps of curls, and then I'd step out for burn a ciggy, and then go back in. It's just unbelievable. It's mortifying to think about some of the things from back then. So fortunately, I have photos, and we can all laugh about it. But I didn't bring those tonight from then. But I did bring stuff from Crystal Beach. So I got out of school, moved down to Crystal Beach, and in fairly short order, I started playing this place called Bob's Sports Bar and World Famous Grill. For a while, I was just hanging out there, hanging out in Crystal Beach, and then I went to the owner one night, one afternoon at Bob's, and his name was Bob, and I said, "Man, how would you feel about it? Me sitting up over here in the corner and putting a tip jar out and just playing music. I won't charge you anything. I'll play for 4 hours, and maybe it'll add some entertainment value to your situation here." And he said, "Sure." And so that was my first gig, and I'm going to show you some photos here of that place. So let's see if I can find it. Here is you probably, let's see that. There's Bob's. There's me with a lay on playing looks like a Washburn guitar. My friend Amy McGlon has a lighter in the air. This looks like probably some kind of holiday, but that was my spot. So I played there probably 100 nights at least, hundreds of hours. There's my tip jar. You can see that pitcher, that beer pitcher right there. That was my tip jar. And I had a little acoustic amp, and I could plug a guitar and my vocal mic in, and that was my setup. And I would travel around with that and set up and play cover songs all night. Here is New Year's Eve. I had Hurricanes, Easter and New Year's Eve. I got a gig. I did several New Year's Eves there. And then let's see. And then I also mentioned Homer in the songs. That's Homer. And it looks like he has some party cones underneath his shirt. That's Homer. Homer Fry, when I got there, he was the first and only person in the bar when I started playing. And he lived in a trailer right behind the bar. And he would sit there all day long smoking Virginia Slim 120s and drinking like Bush Tall Boys. And he would heckle me. And I'm sorry, I'll go back to that in a minute. But he would heckle me and just give me the hardest time. And it was sort of like the trainer in Rocky. Was it Gus or I forget his name. But he was like that. Like he saw it like it was his duty to coach me up, because I think he saw that I had potential. He was very kind to me a lot of the time. But if he saw me slacking off or just not, getting too drunk or not really focusing, he would give me hell. And which was funny because usually was hardly anybody in there. It was a ghost town in the winter. And then the summer, everybody that was in there was hammered and just wanted to hear cover songs. But he kind of pushed me, but he was also the first guy, if anybody started any trouble, which happened fairly regularly. He would jump up and get right in the middle of it, and he would be wearing a mesh shirt, like you could just see like 90% of his torso, like just. He had some interesting sartorial choices, but that was Homer. Homer's in the corner breaking up a fight. So let's give him one more look here. And that's a baby-faced me playing music, and Homer over there. So God bless him. When he died, they buried him with the remote control from the bar. It was a sports bar, and they had all the TVs, and Homer got the remote control. So anyway, it's fun for me to see that. So that was Bob's. That's where I started off, and then I got these. I started getting gigs at places like Stingery, where I was a waiter, and the Ship's Wheel, and the Sharky's, and Genie's 1 and Genie's 2, and all these joints. And but this is a song about the peninsula I was living on. It's called Highway 87. It was about a half-mile wide, 20 miles long. The Gulf of Mexico on one side, the bay on the other, some cows, some bars, and a lot of people using aliases, and some good folks. And yeah, here we go. I said Highway 87, that's one dangerous place to be. When you're pissed off all the local boys and your back's against the sea, and the cops all know your number, and the bars all know your name. After 6 straight months of drinking, boy, you're never gonna be the same. And I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't remember when. I may not know where I'm going, but I sure know where I've been. Oh, that sheriff, he just watches every move I make, and one of these days he's gonna arrest me for all the time I take. And the local girls all act like I just ain't their kind, painting on their precious nails, losing their sweet minds. And I'd give half of Texas if I could find a friend. I may not know where I'm going, but I sure know where I've been. All that coast is disappearing. There's a line up on the beach. They're doing all them little things Sunday school don't teach. And there's Jim Beam by the fire, cocaine in the stash, a baseball bat on the floorboard, shotgun on the dash. And you might lose your mind or go walking around the bend. You may not know where you're going, but you sure know where you've been. Yeah. I said Highway 87, that's one dangerous place to be. When you're pissed off all the local boys and your back's against the sea, and the cops all know your number, and the bars all know your name. After 6 straight months of drinking, boy, you're never gonna be the same. And I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't remember when. I may not know where I'm going, but I sure know where I've been. Yeah, Highway 87. It was a trip for me when I moved out there. I grew up in the suburbs. I was born in Houston, but I grew up in the suburbs north of Houston, and this was not the suburbs. It was it was pretty violent and interesting. Just very colorful characters. A lot of colorful characters out there. And I remember one day, the first week I moved out there, this tropical storm came. And I watched as this house in front of me washed away. and I was sort of like Noah. I just all the animals came up on my front porch. I was the only full-time resident in this neighborhood of like 80 houses. Or maybe there was one other. There's one other. But I remember before the storm came, I knew it was coming, so I went to the grocery store and I bought a 6-pack of beer. And the cashier said, just very friendly, said, "On your way to work?" I was like, what? I'm buying alcohol and there's a tropical storm coming. No, I'm not on my way to work. But I think after living there, like, it would not have been surprising at all had I been. That was the kind of place it was. So that leads into this song here. Hopefully I printed out the lyrics. There we are. And I'll do this, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about tell you something about the recording process and getting a record deal, and I've got some of the people involved sent me some great messages to share with you guys, and so anyway, this will be fun. But this is a song that I think this was the first song I wrote when I got to the peninsula, and I remember playing it. There was this sort of loose group of musicians hanging out down there in Galveston, not in Crystal Beach, but I would take the ferry. I would ride the ferry across the bay to Galveston. And there was a club called the Old Quarter Acoustic Cafe, which a lot of y'all are familiar with. I certainly talk about it a lot. And let me see if I can find... Well, that's Ray Wiley Hubbard on stage at the Old Quarter Acoustic Cafe. A young Ray Wiley Hubbard. Look at that. Let me see if I can find... that is me meeting Ray Wiley Hubbard for the first time at the Old Quarter Acoustic Cafe. I'm glad somebody captured that. But that was, I believe I opened for him that day and that night, and or actually I'm not even sure I was on the bill, but he I remember meeting him there. That looks like a sound check. I remember watching a sound check and just thinking it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. Let's see. I have one other photo from that place, and it kills me. I should have had a Rex Bell photo in here. Rex runs the joint. Let's see if I can find it. We got that. We got Ray. Well, I may not have it. Oh wait, here we are. Yeah, so I guess I did play that. Look at that. I got my khakis on. I got my button up. My friend Gary Reagan is over there on the guitar. You can't see him. And back then I probably was playing. I didn't have many songs. Here was like one of my set lists. These are my list of cover songs. Here's some more handwritten ones. So these on the right were my songs. The ones on the left were cover songs. And I don't even know what some of these are. Houston Town. Always Have, Always Will. With Love on Our Side. Joe Johnson. Sail Away. Another Rainy Day. I don't know any of these songs. Going Home. I'm in Love with You. Hey Baby, Where You Been? Was the start. I started that. We Could Be Lovers. It's a Shame. Arkansas Blues. So anyway, let me pull that out there. Sorry, I know I'm all over the map tonight. Forgive me. That's just how it's going to be. So where were we? We were singing songs about Crystal Beach. So I had written this song. It's in the key of E flat, and I remember I got together with a guy named Don Mulkey, who was a bass player. He did other things. But some guys just played music for fun. And I remember it was the first time I ever played with a bass player. And I brought one song to the table. I was like, it's an E flat. And he was like, I don't... He was not a super proficient bass player. So I remember that being a bit problematic for folks. But it turned out E flat is my key. So this is called Heaven Above. six-pack of something, a bottle of pills, and got to be a better way to get my thrills. Lord, you know sometimes living ain't hardly enough. And now when you're waiting on a sign from heaven above, lying around the house wasting sleep all day, everything I want to keep slipping away. What can I do when my time flies like it does? Lord, it won't come back without a sign from heaven above. This 9-to-5 work is giving me the blues. I wanna get my picture on the 6 o'clock news. Oh, pretty baby, maybe I ain't got the stuff, but I can't make a move without a sign from heaven above. I found me a lover, she's 6'3". Everybody says she better looking than me. What can I say? I guess I'm only lucky in love. Lord, it helps pass time when you're waiting on heaven above. Yeah, a bar full of strangers, 50-cent beer. God almighty, what am I doing here? I always end up on the floor when push comes to shove. Can't pick myself up without a sign from heaven above. But I gotta write it down, make everything right. I'm going to a party on a Saturday night. Me, oh my, what on earth was I thinking of? Yeah, time rolls by when you're waiting on heaven above. Oh, life rolls by when you're waiting on heaven above. Yeah. All right, heaven above. So, so I moved down to the beach. I'm playing these kind of dive bars down in Crystal Beach, and then I find the Old Quarter Acoustic Cafe in Galveston, and I start hanging out there. It's actually a songwriter room. It's a shrine to shrine. Sorry, not a shroud. It's a shrine to Townes Van Zandt and Blaze Foley and Lightning Hopkins, and people that came there knew those folks, and particularly Rex Bell, the guy who owned it, and songwriters would come in. They'd come in off they lived in Galveston, or they would come in off the ships that were in port. You know, these ship captains or just deckhands would come in and sing songs. Kids would drive up from College Station to play their songs. You'd have housewives and drug dealers and it ran the gamut of folks that just came in. There was an open mic night. Lucky Boyd would host the open mic night, and so I started doing open mics, and then started eventually singing some of my own songs. I would do covers at first. I remember the first time I walked in there. Just totally by accident, it changed my life. There were a couple things during this time that really made a huge difference in my life. And one was I got off work. I was waiting tables at a seafood restaurant. And I got off work and we were going out with some friends to try and find a bar, and the bar was closed. And so I turned down this alley. With the Old Quarter is not easy to find if you don't know where it is. I turned down this alley, took a right instead of going left, and heard music playing, and I walked in, and there was people on stage, and there was a good-looking bartender and a few folks, and I walked in, I said, "What's going on?" And he said, "It's a music venue, do you want to play?" I said, "Sure." I had my guitar in the car, got up and sang some Lyle Lovett songs, and that just that changed everything for me. Those open mic nights, I would get so nervous. Like, I used to drink a lot back then. I was in training drinking. I sing about it a lot. And I remember I would be so nervous to play these open mic slots. You'd get like 2 or 3 songs. And singing cover songs is one thing. But singing your own stuff, that was a completely different thing. Cover songs, everybody knows. It's already been proven to be a great song. All I have to do is not mess it up. But my own songs, that was a different deal. And so I would get very nervous. And in the old quarter, didn't serve liquor. They just had beer and wine. And so I would go across the street to the bar, at Molly's Pub, and I would sit there and drink whiskey and Jim Beam and grapefruit juice. I know, it's gross. I'd like it, actually, but every time I'd order it, the bartender would look at me like I was holding a baby upside down. And but it was actually pretty good. But I would catch a nice buzz, and then I would go over and do my 3 songs. And I was reading the liner notes to the record today, and for each song I put some sort of note. And on this one it says, "My first hangout when I moved to Galveston was the Old Quarter Cafe. It's the best bar ever, except they don't have liquor, food, or customers. So in between sets, I went across the street to drink whiskey, eat peanuts, and stare at the cigarette machine." And that's what I did. I sat there by myself every night. I very rarely met anybody. I was fairly lonely. But I'd sit there and scribble on napkins and try and look cool, hope that some girl would come talk to me. And I forgot to mention, if y'all share the show right now, I've got a bunch of CDs, Flowers and Liquor CDs. We'll give away, let's say we'll give away a half dozen of them tonight. So if you share the show, Callan will pick 5 or 6 folks and give them a CD. And let's get a few folks in here after the week off. But it looks like a nice crowd already. And but yeah. All right, so let's try this one. This is called Barroom Lament. I'm tired of drinking whiskey by myself. Tired of drinking whiskey by myself. I wish you'd take that bottle and put it right back on the shelf. 'Cause I'm tired of drinking whiskey by myself. I go down to the bar most every night. I go down to the bar most every night. The girls don't even notice, and the boys all wanna fight. But I go down to the bar most every night. Yeah, the jukebox has not played my song in years. Jukebox has not played my song in years. On this same old bar stool, just a backing shots with beers. And the jukebox has not played my song in years. My friends have gone so far away. I said all my friends have gone so far away. They all went down to Austin. Lord, I miss them night and day. And all my friends have funny anymore. I said I'm really not that funny anymore. I used to be a riot, and now I'm just a lonely boy. And I'm really not that funny anymore. And do you think that I could stay in town with you? And do you think that I could stay in town with you? It's 30 miles to my place, and I'm feeling tired and blue. And do you think that I could stay in town with you? Here we go. 'Cause I'm tired of drinking whiskey by myself. I said I'm tired of drinking whiskey by myself. I wish you'd take that bottle and put it right back on the shelf. 'Cause I'm tired of drinking whiskey by myself. Yeah, a lot of whiskey drinking, not much company. Oh, good times. Just trying to figure it out back then. All right, well, if you're just tuning in, welcome to episode 53 of Alone Together Tuesdays. This is a special episode where I am going through and my first record, Flowers and Liquor, playing all the songs, telling the stories behind them, and how we got where we got. So there's a lot of stories, a lot more photos, and a lot of things going on. But real quick, just because it's a special edition episode does not mean that I forgot about magic. For those of y'all who are just joining me, you may not know this, but I believe I'm the only show that has music and magic currently on the internet, which makes us kind of a big deal around here. My son Eli is a fantastic magician, and he sent in some videos for us to watch. I have not seen them yet, so let's see. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and play one and hope for the best. Here we go. This is Eli Carll. All right, not bad at all. All right, we've got one more trick here. We'll do that, and then we'll get back to the music, unless there's a protest and people want more magic, which is certainly possible. Here we go, Eli Carll. All right, bravo, Eli. As usual, 0.5% of the tips tonight go to Eli's college fund and general discretionary spending for a 17-year-old. And also, if you contribute to the show tonight, we'll send you a postcard. The postcard is the album cover. And that's any amount. I'll send that to you. Actually, you can do that. Or if you email us at hayscarlmgmt@gmail.com if things are tight and you don't have any money that you feel like giving, but you still want a postcard, that's totally okay. I get it. And so just email us, and you can share the show. That will help. But that's one way to do it. And if you do have money, if you're flush and rolling in cash, for $30 you'll get the postcard, a set list from tonight's show, signed and personalized, and a sticker. And I'm sorry, there's one other thing: a signed lyric sheet from one of the songs off this record. I'm not sure which one it's going to be. If y'all go ahead and throw your ideas in there. If there's one that you would like it to be, I'm going to do a signed lyric sheet, but I'm not sure which song. I've already done It's a Shame as a lyric sheet, so that leaves the other 11 songs on here. But anyway, speaking of It's a Shame, let's play that. So some of y'all probably don't know this one song that I recorded on 2 different records, my first one and my third one. And on the first one, there was 4 verses. On the third one, there was 3 verses. So I'm going to play the one with all 4 verses. It goes like this. And singing on this song is Lisa Morales, who produced the record. I'm going to talk a lot more about in just a minute. So this is It's a Shame. Sorry, I forgot to tune back. That's a shame. Okay, let me take this thing out too. It's unnecessary. And Callan, if you would send that email address up there for folks, so they know who to type to if they want the postcard. All right. The time has come. There is no second chance. We've been drifting on an empty, aching sea. You were the girl I never knew I wanted. I was a boy you hoped you'd never see. It's a shame we ain't lovers. We could have been something so big and grand, just kissing flowers underneath that sweet magnolia. I'm begging for answers, trying to make a stand. Talking to the midnight, just dreaming ways I could hold you next to me. And maybe it's just wasn't meant. All things have a reason. Maybe our hearts are just too careless and free. But it's a shame we ain't lovers. We could have been something so big and grand, just kissing flowers underneath that sweet magnolia. I'm begging for answers, trying to make a stay. There was a time you would have had me. There was a time when I could have had you. It's too late and now the path is come and gone again. I'm at the back door with a broken window view, thinking it's a shame we ain't lovers. We could have been something so big and grand, just kissing for hours underneath that sweet magnolia. I'm begging for answers, trying to make a stand. Tired of writing, but I can't put down my pen. It's too late now to talk or turn back, so just hold on, 'cause baby, here we go again, heading the wrong way down that one-way track. It's a shame we ain't lovers. We could have been something so big and grand, just kissing for hours underneath that sweet magnolia. I'm begging for answers, trying to make a stand. Just trying to make a stand. Right, looks like Winnie decided to move. How do I work? There she is. That's Winnie Bird. So I wrote that song in Croatia. I was living in 2000. I got a job with the U.S. Census, and made some decent money counting people. I counted homeless people in Galveston and Crystal Beach and the surrounding areas. And I did that for a while, and I made a little bit of money and bought a ticket to Croatia, where my best friend at the time was living, or he was Croatian, and so he had me over, and I went and stayed for 6 months, and I wrote that song over there. I had recorded a little 6-song EP in a basement. This guy named Hazen Reich, who lived in Galveston, he had a little studio in his house in a basement. I recorded a 6-song EP, and around this time I had started playing. I got to open for a band called the Sisters Morales, and I told you about the Old Quarter Acoustic Cafe. It was the only place I knew where like legitimate songwriters came through. So Ray Wiley Hubbard, who I got to do this one more time. Let's see. Ray Wiley Hubbard and Steve Fromholtz and Willis Allen Ramsey and Steve Young and Shake Russell and Dana Cooper and Kimmy Rhodes, and just all these great songwriters would come through there, and these were people who were actually doing this for a living. And I thought, okay, this is not playing tip covers for tips. This is something else. And they seem to go places like other than here. There's a circuit, but I didn't know about it. I didn't know how you got on it. I didn't know anything about it until Lisa Morales came along. Lisa Morales was one half of Sisters Morales, and Roberta was her sister, and they had a fantastic band, and they would sell out the Old Quarter every time they came through, and like probably I think they did 2 shows. And I remember the first time I saw them, I couldn't get in the club, and I stood outside and I listened on the speakers and watched through the window. And after the show, Rex Bell, the owner of the Old Quarter, introduced me to him and recommended me as an opening act. And so the next time they came through, they let me open for him. And I guess it went well and they liked me. And so they took me out on the road. And I started getting to do shows. They took me out to Houston and San Antonio, Helotes. I'm trying to remember where else. And Ray Wiley was the other person that took me out. Those two acts, like I never would have gone off the island, I don't think, if it weren't for them. But they took me out and got me in front of audiences, got me in front of their crowds at actual clubs, and I realized, oh, there's a circuit here. There's an infrastructure for people, and they can go out and play, and people know to go to it. And so that was very eye-opening. And when I got back from Croatia, I started playing. They took me to different places like the Mucky Duck, and here is, oh my God, this is embarrassing. That's me and Lisa Morales and Michael O'Connor, a great guitar player and songwriter, at the Mucky Duck at one of my first song swaps. Oh God, there's got to be a better picture than that. At one of my first song swaps, and they started taking me out to these clubs, and then I started getting my own gigs at these clubs because Lisa and Ray had gotten me in front of their audiences, and then I started building up my own audiences. And I, around that time, there's a guy named Brad Turcotte who had just gotten out of Belmont College here in Belmont University here in Nashville, and had started, I think he was in law school, and he had started a record label. He was a very ambitious young man. And he asked around some of the club owners who were the acts that they were listening to, and I think my name came up a little bit, and so he reached out to me and asked if I had any music, and I gave him this demo that I'd made in a garage, and he heard it and he said, "That's great, good luck," because it was not very good, and but about 6 months later, Lisa offered to produce my record, to like a real record. I had taken out a loan, and with that loan, I bought this guitar. 20 years ago, I bought this guitar. The day before we went into Pedernales Studios in Pedernales, Texas, Willie Nelson's studio, and we recorded Flowers and Liquor in 5 days. And I sent the record to Brad Turcotte again, I sent this to him, and this was a different animal. This was a different thing, and he offered me a record deal. Only it wasn't as simple as that. So I reached out to Brad Turcotte and I asked him if he would share some words about his memories from these days. And so I'm going to read them to you real quick, and then I'll play some more music. But I just thought this was really cool. All right. One thing he remembered is dueling dads. So my dad is an attorney. His dad was an attorney. He said, "Your dad and my dad in law represented each of us, and both, I recall, stood very, very firm in our stances. With 2 kids, the same age, with 0 leverage." Yet our dads and dad-in-law, father-in-law, thought it was negotiations between Dylan and Sony. That always makes me smile. So here's what else he said. He said, "I was not looking to sign anyone when Southwest Wholesale passed me your demo. I had the intention of releasing 2 compilation albums, and that's it. Hey, this kid doesn't have resources to put out this album. You should listen and consider him," they said. "Just a guitar and vocal. Honestly, don't shoot me," he says, "sounding like a seasoned major record label jerk like I am now, I didn't hear it until you sent me the fully produced album. And it floored me. Lyrics, melodies, and Lisa's production just all worked. But it didn't click until my wife and I saw you play live. We went to a little wine bar off of Memorial, and there were less than 10 people in there. I remember this because I thought to myself, well, we have room to grow." But your secret sauce was that you give 2 shows in one, your music and your storytelling. Your storytelling between songs is as compelling as your music. Brilliant live show, and I knew it would be easy to find more fans and followers. So I went to a family member and borrowed the money to put that campaign together. I think I was 23 at the time and way over my head and thinking I knew what was going to take to promote a solo artist. Photos, artwork, publicist, radio rep, manufacturing, tour posters, postage for tour posters, poster tubes for tour posters. Funny thing about the tour posters, I thought it was important to have a beer logo on your posters because isn't that what the Stars have? So I called St. Arnold Beer locally in Houston and bartered that they pay for the tour posters. And in exchange, we would put their logo on the posters. Their first artist deal, my first brand partnership deal, and your first partnership. I need to point out that is my only brand deal that I've ever had. It's my only sponsor was St. Arnold's. And the exchange was they did the posters and they delivered 1 case of beer a month to my doorstep. It was awesome. I thought I was so big time. Anyway, Brad says, now I handle brand partnerships at Universal Nashville, and it doesn't get much different. Odd. I remember so much about that record, but I feel like those memories are about me as much as it was for you. I've made a career working with global superstars, Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Luke Bryan, Shania Twain, but you were the first artist that I worked with, sitting in on my first photo shoot, which was your first shoot, working with publicists and radio reps for the first time for you too, booking your first multi-state tour, my first and only time booking an artist. All of those firsts were concurrently on the flip side your first time, and I love how we both have made careers that we can be proud of. Happy for you, and this record will always have a special place in my life. That was Brad Turcotte, who was the founder of Compadre Records, and now works for Universal. And I thought that was really cool. We were both going through this at the same time, and yeah, it's funny to look back and think on. But the publicist that he got, it turned out to be Tracy Thomas, who's now Jason Isbell's manager, also manages my wife, and has been a friend now for 20 years. And I didn't know anything about the record business. This was huge for me because I didn't know how to book a tour. I didn't know how to do headshots. I didn't know any of this stuff. So I'm going to show you this here. He made me headshots. So there's my first headshots. And maybe my only. I'm not sure I got headshots after this. Made this little like brochure. It has my bio in there, and he would hand them out on the tables and everything. So, yeah. June 11th, 2002 is when the record came out. We made it in 2001, but I'm very grateful to Brad Turcotte for that. So, let's see. What are we going to do now? Let's do the title track. Let's have a sip first. Here's to you, everybody. Thanks for sticking with me here on a Tuesday night. We're halfway through the record, half more way to go, and some more stories and some more embarrassing photos to come. Let's see. Where's the lyrics that I know? I know the lyrics to this. I don't need a lyric sheet. I wrote the damn thing. Well, you like flowers and I like liquor. Your way's nice, but my way's quicker. I've been watching you all night long, and I gotta say something, don't care if it's wrong. I'm feeling outrageous, I hope it's contagious. I wanna spend the night with you. Oh, and I'm the kind of boy who's slow and lazy, a little bit lost and a little bit crazy. You're the kind of girl who wakes at dawn, walking through the kitchen till the soaps come on. Well, baby, it's only that I'm feeling lonely, and I wanna spend the night with you. Oh, and I'm no good at sweet romancing, pillow talk or limbo dancing. I'm just a fool hiding from the rain, sitting with a bottle of the cheap champagne. But I'm feeling funky, drunker than a monkey, and I wanna spend the night with you. Alright. You may recognize this melody. 8 other songs I've done. But this was the first time I used it. Oh, and we'll go home and leave the lights on, wear G-strings and see-through tights. Oh, we'll make love and we'll have a ball in the kitchen against the wall. I'm getting excited, I hope I'm invited. I want to spend the night with you. Oh, 'cause you like flowers and I like liquor. Your way's nice, but my way's quicker. I've been watching you all night long, and I gotta say something, don't care if it's wrong. I'm feeling outrageous, I hope it's contagious. I wanna spend the night with you. Yeah, I'm getting excited, I hope I'm invited. I wanna spend the night with you. Oh man, it's funny. I remember so vividly writing these songs. I remember where I was, what I was thinking, what I was trying to do. And I've written a lot of songs since then, and I don't have as vivid memories of a lot of those, but these were the first ones, a lot of them, and so it all felt very significant because I didn't know what I was doing. I was trying to figure it out, and I had no idea if anybody would like it. Trying to find my own voice, trying to figure out the craft, trying to figure out something that wasn't me mortified to play, yeah. All right, let's see. Let's move on here. So I've got, here's another flat. Actually, let me show you another shot of Lisa Morales. Let's see. I showed you this one, which I don't know why I keep showing that because that's horrible of me. This, just last weekend, I played Nutty Brown Cafe outside of Austin, and Lisa was on the show. And so there's us 20 years later. So it was really great to see her. She's so good. And the sisters are such a great band. Yeah, so if you get a chance, check out the Sisters Morales music. Check out Lisa Morales music. She's got a lot of records out on her own, and she's got a new one coming out. There's a duet with Rodney Carll on it. One of the songs on here I wrote was inspired by my friend Richie Lee Ross. And Richie Lee was probably my best friend through high school. He and Robbie Robb, Richie Ross and Robbie Robb were my two best friends. And here's a photo of us. This was on the day that the Houston Oilers played the Kansas City Chiefs, led by Joe Montana, in the playoffs. And we drove around town all day in our car in my 83 Pontiac Bonneville, going to Kansas City, and feeling very confident that we were going to, that our Houston Oilers were going to win the game. Notice the matching toques and scarves. Houston Oilers, that'd probably be worth a fortune right now, those toques and scarves. And the cigarettes, of course. We were very cool. Very cool. Anyway, I wrote a song inspired. I always thought Richie's name was great. Richie Lee. What a cool name. So I wrote this about him. I made him an alcoholic and killed him off. He's still alive and doing fine. But I wrote this. Let's see if I can. Let me make sure I got the lyrics here. There we go. All right. Richie Lee was his father's boy, a big, loud, hard-drinking bundle of joy. walking laugh wrapped up in corduroy. Richie couldn't do no wrong. He grew up with a fast running crowd, a bunch of boys just a little too loud. You can't fault a man for being proud, but Richie kept rolling on. He spent his days in a rock and roll band, telling jokes, a guitar in his hand, trying hard to meet every demand of all of those late night shows. Whiskey drunk on a Saturday night, she caught his eye coming out of the light. Halfway there he had to get in a fight, but back home that's just the way it goes. Strange days will leave you in wonder, and good times they don't always stay. And true love, it'll shake you like thunder, but old friends just fade. Summertime on the river again, the fishing poles and a $2 grin. Man, I ain't ever gonna laugh like that again, or falling right to the ground. We count the miles down to New Orleans, and borrowed cash and dirty blue jeans. A couple of boys looking for Cajun queens, thinking they home to town. But we all left to find work around. Yeah, even wild ones, they slowed down. And Richie felt like he was coming unwound. Got tired of playing the game. Liquor bottles piling up before noon. Richie said he just needed some room. We all saw the end coming way too soon, and man, that's an awful shame. Strange days will leave you in wonder, and good times they don't always stay. True love, it'll shake you like thunder, but old friends just fade away. Hey, old friends just fade away. Richie Lee. Richie Lee. Old friend, he has not faded away. He's still alive and kicking. We talked just recently. So, in case you're wondering. Yeah. All right. How's everybody doing? Good, I hope. I hope you had a good week off, good week in between. Thank you for tuning in. It's good to be back. I missed y'all. Yeah. All right. Let me see. I'm gonna have another sip here in honor of Richie Lee, and then we'll move on to the next thing. Thank you, Callan. I keep forgetting to put our banners up. Let's see. What else do we got? I feel like I have some other photos here. Yeah, there's the headshot. That's so funny. Compadre Records, HayesCarll.com. There's the other one. That's the guitar. That's this guitar, but it was brand new. I bought it at Fuller's Vintage in Houston, Texas. So now look at it. It's like it has been through the ringer. Anyway. Okay, so I'm gonna do here a song that that I wrote. This is one Lisa. I mentioned Lisa Morales produced this, and she did such an incredible job. It was so professional. She brought in Rick Richards, great drummer, who played with Ray Wiley Hubbard and Joe Walsh, and he was with Sisters at the time. Jim Carroll on bass, Jeff Plankenhorn, amazing songwriter and musician who's now in the Resentments, but also had played with Ray Wiley. He came in and played dobro. David Spencer, who was married to Lisa at the time and was in the Sisters Morales, played a lot of the guitar. My friend Bert Wills, who was this wonderful musician and character down in Galveston when I was living there. He was my neighbor and he used to give me guitar lessons. And well, he gave me 2 guitar lessons. So he came up for one day and played a few songs. And Roberta Morales came in and sang on it. Lisa sang. David Spencer sang on that song, Richie Lee. It was just me and David, I believe. And there's another song that I'll do that was just me and David. So anyway, it was all kinds of wonderful stuff. And I asked Lisa, actually, if she had any memories from this time. And in fairness, I only gave her like 20 minutes right before showtime. I said, hey, real quick, do you have any memories? And she said, you didn't originally want to do Arkansas Blues solo without instrumentation, but I loved your raw performance so much. And I'm really glad she made me do that song solo. I still remember it. We lit a candle, we turned out the lights, and I played. It was very dramatic. Anyway, but that memory is so vivid. And I love that performance of it. It's really cool. And that's a lot of what a producer does, is just get an artist in the right state of mind. But in this case, she did a lot more than that, because I had no clue. I'd never played with a drummer. I'd never done so many things. I'd never been in a studio, in Willie Nelson's studio, no less. And I remember listening to the playback one day and going, I don't sound like I thought I sounded. And the engineer, Larry Greenhill, who'd done like 100 records with Willie Nelson, goes, that's why they call them recording artists. Or it's something like the effect, recording it is different than playing it live. And he was like, yeah, that's why they're called recording artists. So, let's see. She said, you were amazing in the studio and so excited to be at Willie's. You went early every day to see if you could run into him on the golf course, which I did. He wasn't there, but every day I would go in early and just walk around hoping that Willie would show up. And some of his roadies and crew were there, but he never came through. But I still have not met Willie Nelson. So, anyway, this is a song that I played a certain way, and Lisa turned it into a completely different thing, which I really loved for a recording. What I had was this kind of this like almost bluegrassy kind of just rolling thing, and she turned it into a blues song. It was very kind of slinky and sexy, and I thought it was cool. So I'm gonna try that version, but we'll see. I haven't done this in a while. You told your mama, and you told your pa, Your mama called the preacher and your daddy called the law. It's alright, it's alright. Everything's gonna be okay. We just won't come home on Christmas or any other holiday. You say behave yourself, I say I'll try. You say don't go out tonight, and I say why? It's okay, it's okay. Everything's gonna be just fine. You can fall asleep in your bed, honey. Me, I just toss and turn in mine. You're making money, honey. You're gonna be a star. I lie around all day and play guitar. It's okay, it's okay. Everything's gonna be alright. I make breakfast every morning, sugar, and sing you lullabies at night. Alright. Checkers, me, I like chess. I like you naked, baby, but you like to dress. It's okay, it's okay. Everything's gonna be just fine. Every Friday, naked checkers, honey. I bet you beat me every time. You told your mama and you told your pa. Your mama called the preacher and your daddy called the law. It's alright, it's alright. Everything's gonna be okay. We just won't come home on Christmas or any other holiday. No, we just won't come home on Christmas or any other holiday. All right, naked checkers. Well, don't really know what to say about that one. Okay, where are we at? So, I made a record. Brad Turcotte and Compadre Records. Lisa Morales produced it. Brad Turcotte put it on Compadre Records, and I was the first act on this label. And then they signed Billy Joe Shaver and James McMurtry, and they got some of the Townes Van Zandt catalog. And it was really cool. It was really informative for me to, and it made me feel like legitimate, even though I didn't have much of an audience. But just to be on this roster. I still remember the very first sound scan. So in music, they have this thing called sound scan, which tells you how many, every week it comes out, tells you how many records you sold. And that's how they get the Billboard charts and like who's number one and blah, 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 and how record labels figure how much money they've gotten. And my first week, Flowers and Liquor, the first sound scan, 56 copies. Which, in case you're wondering, that's not a good number. It's not a good number at all. Especially with, Brad took out a loan to like finance this label and like promote my record, and so it was not a great start. But I was starting to build up a little bit of an audience, and I went and did a show at the Monkey Duck, and I remember I sold 85 tickets, and I sold like 56 CDs. This is back when people bought CDs. And I ended up making like $800, $1,000, something. Like I made some good money that night. Like more money than I had ever imagined I would make playing music. It was by far the most money I'd ever made. And I remember I drove back to Galveston, and I got back to my little apartment, and I just spread the money out on the table, and I just looked at it. I was like, this is like almost $1,000. And Winnie, do you have something to say? You want to say hi to the Tuesday folks? She's not happy that she's stuck in here with me. There are other dogs visiting, and she wants to go play with them. Anyway, so I had all this money. I laid it out on the table. Like, I would have rolled around in it if I'd had the energy, but I went to bed. And the next morning, 7 a.m., on my front door. I'm like, what in the hell is going on? It's Saturday morning. I get up. I stumble to the door in my underwear. And there's a Galveston County sheriff there. He says, "You Hayes Carll?" I said, "Yes, sir." He says, "Let's go." "Where?" He says, "Well, we got a warrant for you. Time to go to jail." So, a warrant for what? And it turned out I had been pulled over a while back. I know you've heard the story before. You don't have to be obnoxious about it. I'd been pulled over a while back, and I had a ticket that I'd never cleared up. And so they were coming to get me, and it over time had sort of compounded. And the amount that I owed was $650, $680, almost $700. And he said, "Well, you have $700 on you? Because otherwise you're going to jail." And I looked back in the room, and this money is spread out. I've had it for like 12 hours. The most money I've ever made. Had it for 12 hours. I'm like, all right, give me a minute. So I put on my pants, got the money. He drove me to the stop and go. And I got a cashier's check for whatever it was. And so that was my CD release party at the Monkey Duck. Sold 56 records. I sold 56 SoundScan, and then I sold about the same live at that show that one night. So anyway. Okay. I'm going to talk more about touring in just a minute. I've got some good photos of that as well. And let's see here. Real quick, I'm just going to go through here. So I showed you there's the cover, and then inside the CD, look at that. Oh, yeah. More guitar. Heaven Above, Highway 87, Naked Checkers, Arkansas Blues, It's a Shame, Live Free or Die, Easy Come, Easy Go, Richie Lee, Perfect Lover. There's the insert produced by Lisa Morales. Yeah. All right. Okay, so how do I get it? Let's see. Let's play a tune here. I'm going to do this one and get it over with. It's my least favorite song on this record, but I have to play it, so I think it's actually kind of cool lyrically. It's just me trying to rock, and it's not really my thing. But let's see. I'll try it on acoustic guitar. What are you doing, darling? I could be the perfect lover if you let me. I could be the only thing you've ever known. I could scream out all your lonely heart's desires, and I could hold all your life's pain inside my own. I could bring the clouds for you to walk among them, and I could raise the seas for them to know your grace. I could teach the gods of all your autumn's glory. I could bring the summer stars to know your face. Hey, 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 hey. But if I come again and only as a friend, would you still know the way my heart is pouring out? Or would you laugh aloud, an angel all too proud to ever be lonely again? I've been locked up here with all these lonesome questions. I need a new word just to whisper in your ear. Baby, right now I'm open to suggestions. I'm gonna tell you all the things you need to hear. And there's a mirror in my room with no reflection. There's a table where your friends have gathered around. There's a doorway that my heart could never walk through. There's a graveyard full of times I let you down. I say, hey, yeah, yeah, hey, 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 yeah. But if I come again and only as a friend, would you still know the way my heart is pouring out? Or would you laugh aloud, an angel all too proud to ever be lonely again? I could be the perfect lover if you let me. I could be the only thing you've ever known. I could scream out your lonely heart's desires. I could hold all your life's pain inside my own. I say, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, darling. I didn't mean to kick you. I didn't see you down there. Oh, sorry. You okay? God, you're shedding like crazy. Okay, that was Perfect Lover, which actually I don't mind it acoustic. I don't mind the lyrics. I just wasn't ready to rock. Wasn't ready to rock. Let's see. I'm not sure how many songs we got left here. I know we've got 1, 2. We only got 2 songs left. All right. I hope you're hanging in there okay. One more time, if you want to contribute, if you want a postcard, which will be the record cover, just send any contribution of any size, or email HayesCarllMGMT@gmail.com, and we'll send you one for free. If times are tough, or you just don't want to give me money for whatever reason, it doesn't matter. I just appreciate you tuning in, and if you take the time to send me an email, I'll take the time to send you a postcard. So just tell me who to make it out to, and I will do that. And then if you contribute $30 or more, I will send a postcard, a set list, a copy of a handwritten set list from tonight's show, and a handwritten lyric sheet which, Callan, do you want to pick one out for me? Let me know. I don't know if people have been suggesting one, if there's like a clear winner. If not, I'll pick one. But if you see one that more people are requesting than not, let me know and we'll do that. So that's $30 or more, and yeah, you don't have to give anything. We give a portion of the proceeds every week to a good cause, a charity or a foundation, or just trying to help people out. This week I haven't picked one yet, but the last episode before last, we sent another $500 to the Second Harvest Food Bank of Central Tennessee. So we've been doing a lot of good there. Thanks to you guys. I really appreciate your generosity. This 53 episodes is amazing. That y'all have stuck with it. Let's see. Sorry, I've got Arkansas Blues is the top pick for lyric sheets, with Easy Come, Easy Go, and Live Free or Die being close behind. All right. Well, I guess we'll do Arkansas Blues. That's the lyric sheet. I should have picked a shorter song. It's okay. I told you that was my favorite one, so I'm going to stand by it. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for chiming in and helping us out here. Okay, let's see. I'm going to do a song here that I wrote. It's another one I wrote in college. I was living in a tiny apartment called Clifton Street Apartments with my friend Sasha, my Croatian friend, and I was staying up one night trying to finish a politics paper, and I was struggling with the paper, and so I started writing a song, and in the morning I had finished the song. I hadn't finished the paper, but I'd finished the song, and it was one of the few things I wrote in one sitting. And I remember playing it for a friend the next day, and he said, "You mean you just wrote that?" I was like, "Yeah, I did." Like, huh? We were both like, "Huh?" Because I thought it was a decent song, and it was kind of eye opening. Like, okay, if you put your mind to it and you've got the right inspiration, you can actually just create something. So it was a cool moment for me. I think this is the only one that has more lyrics than Arkansas Blues, so I'm glad you didn't pick this one. Jamie was a barmaid at the underground long rail. Seemed like every Friday evening she'd find herself in jail. Not a friend this side of Houston, with the time to throw a bail. But she'll be fine. Yeah, she'll be fine. Spent a lifetime walking through the walls of a broken home. Not a man around here still standing for the girl to call her own. Every time she tried to hold it, she just ended up alone. But there's still time. Ah, there's still time. David drove a taxi through the streets of Boston town. Like the billboards up above him, his whole world just wore him down. Only soul he'd ever cared for was the one he'd never found. But he'll be fine. Ah, he'll be fine. The broken half of winter with the wind chill timber low. They'd be sitting in his kitchen laughing about how the world had done him so. When the postman burst his bubble with a letter from below. And now it's time. Oh, now it's time. And there's a lot of people running around, and I'm not quite sure which way to go. But as for me, well, I think I finally found it's just easy come and easy go. And Jamie Jamie grabbed a bottle and threw her apron on the bar, packed the whole world in a suitcase and then tossed it in the car. Woke up in Texarkana, wondering how she got this far, and on and on, and on and on. A stranger at the motel let Jamie stay for free. She was gone before the daybreak, on her ways to Tennessee, looking to make the whole world over into a place she wants to be, but not alone, but not alone. And David left his taxi in the bottom of a Beantown lake. He said this whole world's full of chances, and this is one I gotta take. And so we caught the line to Nashville to finally find his break and make a home. I make a home. As a train flew out of Boston, his whole world passed him by. He said, I've spent a lifetime running, but now's my time to try. If I can't find someone to hold me, all my dreams will surely die, and I'll be gone. Yeah, I'll be gone. There's a lot of people running around, and I'm not quite sure which way to go. But as for me, I believe I finally found it's just easy come and easy go. When Davy hit the pavement, the sky was almost gray. He let the smoke off the sidewalk to drive the storm away. And when Jamie turned the corner with the world upon her brow, Davy said, I must be dreaming. How could this happen now? And then she walked right toward him, looked him right up in the eye. Davy reached out for forever, and Jamie walked on by. And there's a lot of people running around, I'm not quite sure which way to go. But as for me, I do believe I finally found it's just easy come and easy go. Oh, it's easy come and easy go. Oh, you like that one, Winnie? Are you going to the toilet? You gonna drink out of the toilet? Okay, that's fine. I've kept you in here for a long time. I don't want you to dehydrate. Go ahead, do it. All right, let me tune up again here. I know. All right, we're getting towards the end here. Everybody, thanks again for. Can you hear that? That's some toilet drinking. We're getting towards the end. I want to tell one more story here, at least. Girl, she's gonna drink the whole commode. When the record came out on Compadre, I started going and doing some shows, but Brad, as he mentioned in his note there, booked me a tour around the country. Not around the country, but up to the East Coast and back. And it was like a 2-month tour with like 15 shows, 20 shows, something like that. There were a lot of off days and a lot of driving. And I had, nobody knew who I was. So it was hard probably for him, and he wasn't even a booking agent. So to put together this tour was impressive, but also there was very little money in it. And I don't even remember how I met him, but somebody told me there was this songwriter named Mondo Signs in town, and I said, so somehow we got together. We met at the Continental Club in Houston the night before I was heading out for my tour, for a 2-month tour. I met Mondo at the bar, and we hit it off. I said, "Man, I'm going on this 2-month tour." He had a wonderful record, called Watertown that had just come out. I said, "You want to go with me?" And he said, "Sure." So the next morning I went and picked him up in my really beat up Ford Explorer. And we went off on a 2-month tour. And our very first gig was in Memphis, Tennessee at Kudzu's. And after the show, we went out and we came back to our car the next morning. And the window had been smashed. So you can see, actually, that's us at our first gig, Kudzu's. Memphis, Tennessee. We had about 6 people show up, all of them friends. And we went out and celebrated afterwards, our first out-of-state gig. And then the next morning, that's what we're looking at. Our window has been smashed out. And a bunch of our stuff was stolen. God, I got Marlboro Reds there. I don't know. I must have really been in a bad mood. The times were hard. Smoking Reds. Couldn't afford a haircut, but I could afford cigarettes. Anyway, so that was me and Mondo, and we went on this tour up to New York City, and the car just started falling apart. So I'm just going to tell you real quick. We got to New York. We're going over the Brooklyn Bridge, and at rush hour with Texas plates, and my car had this thing where if you stopped, it died. And somebody had to jump out, lift open the hood, which was duct taped shut because there was no lock. And there was also no bar to hold it up. The hood was a whole issue. So you had to hold up the hood with one hand, take this tube with the other, hook it to some other part while the other guy started the car, and then the suction would happen. And I don't really fully understand it. The car's not my thing, as the tow truck driver today could attest outside of my house. And then the car would start, and then one guy, he would just slow close it, put the tape back on, jump back in. And it was a whole process, and they did not take kindly to it at rush hour in New York City, our first time in New York City. And I'm super nervous driving in this traffic, crazy traffic, unlike anything I'd ever seen. And everybody's just super aggressive, and a lot of middle fingers and a lot of horns. And then we had an issue where the horn was busted. So when we would turn left, the horn would go off. So everybody thought we were being really aggressive when we weren't. It was just like to turn into a hotel, it'd be like, so everybody knew we were coming. So we did a lot of right turns just to try and get around where we were going without waking up the neighborhood. And then we would sleep in our car. We would take stuff out of the back so we could fit, and we would sleep head to toe in the back of this Explorer. Most nights we couldn't afford a hotel room because we were getting like maybe $50 a gig. I was, and Mondo was opening. I don't think there was any budget for Mondo. And so we would take turns working the door, just doing whatever we could to like pitch in. And I remember one night we had this gig at a steakhouse in Connecticut somewhere, and we went out there, and the gig, we were set up by the machine where the waiters put their order in, which was way, way far away from any customer. So the only people that could really hear us were the waiters, and we were in their way. So they were just super annoyed with us for being there. And so our only audience really was each other. So when Mondo played, I sat out there and watched him. And then when I played, he sat out there and watched me. And we just cracked up. It's so hard. And finally, we just said, we're going home. And they gave us a steak dinner. They didn't pay us, but they gave us a steak dinner. Anyway, it just went like that for 2 months. But we came through Nashville. I got into Nashville for the first time. Mondo ended up getting a publishing deal on that trip. And we had a lot of good memories. And the whole time our back window was taped up. We were playing for 5 people a night, maybe. Sleeping on porches, sleeping in our car. We got robbed twice more. It was crazy. But I was on the road for the first time in my life, and I was living my dream, and I could not have been happier. It was a really magical time. So I want to thank Lisa Morales for producing my record. I want to thank Brad Turcott for making a label and letting me be the first act on there and taking a chance on a skinny kid with a batch of songs and no career to speak of. It really changed my life. And I thank Mondo for jumping in the car with me for 2 months and getting out there. And I want to thank Homer and Bob's and the Old Quarter and Rex and all the people that gave me feedback along the way and helped me, gave me a home to play music and gave me encouragement. Because I would not have ever made it without them. So anyway, that's it. Those are my thank yous for now. And my family and God. I heard today, I listened to an interview with Jacob Dylan, and he said, don't thank God at award shows. God's not watching the award shows. He's dealing with famine or natural disasters. He doesn't care about your award. That's true. All right. Last song, and then we're going to wrap it up. This is the only cover on this record. And this record, I wrote all the songs myself, which is these days rare. I do a lot of co-writing now, but back then I was writing it all by myself. But this is a song that I discovered my sophomore year in college. I had a crush on this girl named Corey McDonald, and she had a tape by a songwriter named Bill Morrissey. She was from Woodstock, I think, New York, and she had this tape of this folk singer I'd never heard of, and I loved it. I was so blown away by it. It had these really deep and heavy, just super poignant slice of life songs, and then these really funny, hysterical, clever songs that made me laugh. And I was drawn to both of them, but I covered a lot of the funny ones because that was a lane that I liked and felt like I was good at. And his songs got me through a lot of nights, a lot of tough crowds, being able to loosen them up with some humor. So I want to play this. This is Bill Morrissey, Live Free or Die. It's about license plates. State motto of New Hampshire is Live Free or Die. Well, I'm doing 10 to 20 in the frozen granite state, and every day I go to work to stamp out license plates. Every day I go to work and every night I cry, 'cause every license plate I make tells me to live free or die. Live free or die, oh Lord, tell me why can't they say seatbelts fasten or Oklahoma is okay? Vacation land sounds mighty great. I wouldn't mind stamping out the Garden State. It's enough to make me cry. Live free or die. Well, I didn't mean to shoot that man while the gun just went off in my hand. I caught him with my wife, and it cost that man his life. Well, I just got home from the factory, and that guy was sitting where I'm supposed to be. Now he's up there in the sky, and I'm stuck with live free or die. Live free or die, oh Lord, tell me why can't they say seatbelts fasten or Oklahoma is okay? Vacation land sounds mighty great. I wouldn't mind stamping out the Garden State. It's enough to make me cry. Live free or die. So let this be a lesson to all you married men out there. that patience is a virtue, so make your plans with care. And if you catch your wife with another man, well, it's best to hold off as long as you can. Then shoot him in another state where they got a different license plate. Live free or die, oh Lord, tell me why can't they say seatbelts fastened, Oklahoma is okay. Vacation land sounds mighty great, I wouldn't mind stamping out the Garden State. It's enough to make me cry. Live free or die, oh yodelay. Okay, everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I hope you had a good time. Thanks for listening. The replay will be up on YouTube immediately. If you miss anything, you want to catch it, or if you want to share it with anybody, we'll send the postcards out on Friday. So if you want one of those, just reach out to us. You can donate or not. Just go ahead and leave your email address, and it'll be free. Yeah, it's good to be back. Thanks for listening to me and tuning in. Callan, thanks for all your help, and we'll catch you guys. I think we're going to do it next week. We're going to take the Little Rock record, do the sort of the same thing. I'm not sure I have as many pictures, but I do have a very special guest. That's where I met my wife. So until then, I don't have any outro music, so we're just going to be a cold, hard stop. All right, adios, y'all.